Put that rod down right now. That's how it started my HOA president screaming at me across the dock like I was holding a loaded shotgun instead of showing my 12-year-old son how to bait a hook. 30 minutes later, I had a $600 citation in my hand, neighbors filming like it was reality TV, and 911 on the line as if I were some dangerous criminal. All I wanted was to spend a quiet Saturday morning with my kid. Instead, I got dragged into a nightmare that ended with me owning the lake outright. That morning had been picture perfect. The sun was just coming up the water, rippling gold Noah, organizing his little tackle box like it was treasure. He was buzzing with excitement. I could barely get him to stand still while I showed him how to cast properly. Then he froze, pointed behind me, and I turned to see a white golf cart tearing down the path like it was a drug bust. Gloria Hale, 55 years old with her stiff blonde hair and her navy blazer, leading the charge like she'd never lost a battle. Two neighbors trailed behind one already live-streaming with the caption, "Catching a Rule Breaker in Action." "Are you Justin Bennett?" she barked as if I were on a wanted poster. I nodded, confused. She introduced herself as president of the Meadowbrook HOA and waved a finger toward my son like he was an accomplice. "You are in direct violation of community regulations." It was 7:30 a.m., half an hour before the magic hour when fishing was allowed. I pulled out my valid state license thinking she'd back down. She didn't even look at it. She slapped a citation in my hand, smirking. $600. And when I dared to argue, she dialed 911 like she was about to save the world from a terrorist. Noah tugged on my sleeve, eyes wide. "Dad, are we in trouble?" His voice cracked and my chest burned. This was supposed to be a bonding moment, something he'd remember fondly. Instead, police sirens were screaming down the road. Two officers showed up, one young and eager, already reaching for his cuffs, the other older, tired, but skeptical. Noah burst into tears, pleading, "Please don't arrest my dad." His tackle box spilled across the dock lures, scattering like confetti at the worst party of our lives. I wanted to scream, but my throat was dry. The officers inspected my paperwork. The senior one finally shook his head. "This is an HOA matter, not criminal trespassing." Gloria's jaw dropped, furious. They weren't hauling me off in cuffs. But the damage was done. My kid had just begged strangers not to take me away for teaching him to fish. Walking back home, I felt stripped bare, powerless, and I started to wonder if maybe I should just back down, keep quiet, avoid the lake. Maybe she was right. Maybe I'd messed up. That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed the scene over and over, Gloria's smug smirk, Noah's tears, the camera in my face. I opened my laptop out of habit, pulling up public records. It was supposed to distract me. Instead, I found something that made my stomach flip. The HOA owed $15,000 to Clearwater Lake Management, the company that actually owned and maintained the lake. 6 months of overdue notices, certified letters ignored, red stamps across every page. Gloria hadn't mentioned a word of this at meetings. She was collecting our dues like everything was fine. And here she was charging me $600 over quiet hours. For a moment I sat there, hands shaking. What if I just walked away? What if I paid her stupid fine and avoided the lake forever? But then I looked at the envelope on my desk, my grandmother's inheritance. She'd written a note before she passed. "Use this money to protect your family." Maybe this was it. Maybe the real fight wasn't about fishing. Maybe it was about standing up to someone drunk on power. I called a lawyer friend, asked about the debt. He laughed, told me it was messy but legal. If I paid it, I could negotiate control of the lake. Suddenly, I had leverage. The board queen who humiliated me could be dethroned with her own unpaid bills. It felt insane, reckless, but the thought of Noah crying on that dock pushed me forward. Meanwhile, Gloria doubled down. She printed fake prohibition orders with federal seals, tacked them on bulletin boards, told neighbors my family was banned from the water by government decree. She demanded extra lake maintenance fees from families with kids pocketing the cash. Noah came home with "Lake Thief" scrawled on his backpack. Rachel, my wife, broke down one night saying I can't watch her destroy our son's sense of safety. That nearly broke me. But it also lit the fire. I signed the agreement with Clearwater, wired the $15,000, and secured a 99-year contract giving me exclusive authority over lake access. Gloria had no idea her kingdom was already gone. I decided to wait, let her dig her hole deeper. Sure enough, she called an emergency HOA meeting. She plastered blown-up photos of me fishing with Noah like it was Exhibit A in a murder trial. She pointed a laser at the images. "This man is a threat to community standards." The room murmured, some neighbors shifting uncomfortably. Then Rachel stood and asked why some families got special assessment bills and others didn't. Murmurs turned into whispers. George Miller, our 70-year-old neighbor, raised his voice. "In all my years, I've never seen this kind of nonsense." Gloria's face flushed red. I stood slow and deliberate. "Gloria, maybe you should check who actually pays for this lake before threatening legal action." Silence fell. She froze, eyes narrowing. She didn't know yet, but she could sense it. I wasn't bluffing. The climax came a week later, down by the water. Gloria stormed up with her forged papers, flanked by her loyal sidekick still holding a phone camera. She waved the documents like holy scripture. "Mr. Bennett is in violation of federal restrictions," she shouted. That's when George stepped forward with a folder of his own bank records, neighbor testimonies, proof she'd pocketed thousands. Phones went up, neighbors recording every second. Then 2 black SUVs rolled in. Federal investigators, Clearwater reps. They laid it all out: forged government documents, embezzled fees, 6 months of ignored debt. One agent held up her fake prohibition orders. "These seals are counterfeit. This is a federal crime." The blood drained from Gloria's face. She stammered, but no one listened. I opened my own folder and revealed the signed Clearwater contract. My voice steady, almost calm. "I own this lake now, and I'm banning anyone who disrupts it, including you." Neighbors gasped. The same people who once filmed my humiliation were now turning their cameras on her collapse. Gloria sputtered about lawsuits, but the agents cut her off. "Ma'am, you'll remain available for questioning regarding fraud and forgery." She spun on her heel, storming away, her navy blazer flapping like a flag of surrender. 3 weeks later in court, she sat in an orange jumpsuit. The judge reviewed the evidence, her embezzlement, her forgeries, her harassment, and upheld my contract without hesitation. "Mr. Bennett acted in good faith," he said. Gloria was ordered to repay $25,000 and sentenced to probation with more charges pending. The once untouchable queen of Meadowbrook was now just another defendant stripped of power. They tried to squeeze me for $600. I answered by flipping the board, paying $15,000 and taking everything they thought they controlled. When someone abuses rules to crush others, the only way to win is to break their game entirely.